Today was a brutally exhausting day. I got off to a huge loss, like almost 1.5 times max loss, and then took a lot of trades to fight my way out of it. And we can dive in now. I mean, SPY was really choppy this morning, and that kind of set the tone for the market. Now it's finally breaking out to the short side now, but when SPY is kind of chopping around in a range like this, a lot of the other stocks that I'd be watching are doing the same thing. And it was a very difficult morning for me, but really happy to dig my way out to only a tiny loss. So my first trade was on RKT, and my watch list was RKT, CCL, DAL, and MU. And then I had American Airlines down there as a backup, and I ended up trading all 4 of these and American Airlines. So I was doing everything I could, trying to dig out of this hole. My first trade was right here. So I took RKT long. Did I take it long or short? So you can't even tell from here. I took it short. Yeah, that's right. I took it short, and it looks like I got out at my entry, but really what's happening here is I took it short really close to the $28 level, and then I stopped out, I remember, at 28.21. So although it looks right on top of each other, this is actually a pretty big loss. This actually set the tone. This is 1.5 times my max loss per trade, but it happened quick. So huge hole. Then I tried to go short here, I believe, stopped out, and then I finally gave in. I realized, oops. Sorry, guys. Let's see here. Then I finally gave in and realized, okay, RKT is now a long because the volume here is bullish and consistent. We got above these moving average. We got above right at this pivot point. I took it long for a ride back to VWAP and hopefully to the 29 to this previous day close line. I partialed out as we won here at the relative high of the day there, and then I held the rest until close to VWAP. I partialed out a few at VWAP. It kind of tuckered around here for a while. When it went back to VWAP after this, I was a little concerned that it was its last push, so I did another partial here. I was still hoping we'd get the previous day close. It didn't happen. Out at break even. So this was a really nice trade. If this hadn't have been a winning trade right there, my day would have been over. I would have had too big of a loss to continue trading. So this trade kept me in it. Then I took it short here. So I was playing all sides. I went short, stop out, short, stop out, long, get a good trade there, out at break even, and then short, couple profitable partials, and then out at break even. So it kind of looks like a Christmas tree. So that was my day on RKT. And my next trade was on CCL here. Again, I think what I saw is pretty obvious. We were bearish. I thought, maybe a nice channel was forming here, which it did. So I took it short at the top here. And then it just kind of consolidated for too long. So I got one partial and out at break even. Unfortunately, it got to my break even and then right after went back down for the move I was hoping for. But that's what you got to do, unfortunately. So it hung around, consolidated, and then shook me out. But this was a small winner. I traded DAL, Delta here. This is my second worst trade of the day. Where is it at? So it pushed up on pretty good volume, kind of lingered around here. And for some reason, I took it long. I thought, with VWAP, all these things below, we're actually going to fight through the 100 and the 200 MAs. But out of all these MAs, other than VWAP, the 2 that are above this are the strongest of the bunch. So to think that the 50 in VWAP might hold me probably wasn't wise, and it turned against me. And you can see these stocks just couldn't figure out what they wanted to do today, and shook me up. So this is a big loss for me. Then I went over to American Airlines. This is my best trade of the day, and it required so much patience. I'm not that patient of a trader, so to have a trade last for this long, and for me to go, 5 or 6 minutes before my first partial, and then another 10 minutes for my next partial, and then another 3 minutes. This is a very slow trade for me. and felt a little agonizing, but I took it short below these levels, and I wasn't sure if this was going to hold or we were going to bounce off, but it was a short, so it worked out for me. I took a partial here because once we got to this, I wanted to take a partial around this 1330 level, and then again at this around this 1320 level. So I did that, and then I was really hoping it would get down to 13. So as we dipped down here, I had this level pulled off the daily, this 1314. So I took a partial there. Then it came back up on me, and I was actually trying to partial again, but I did a hotkey error, and I added to my position. And then I just didn't like the price action here. It felt like it was going to go back up to previous day close, which was above my break-even point. So I went ahead and took all out right there. So this is actually my most profitable trade of the day. This is, the biggest contributor to me climbing back out. And then lastly, I was almost going to call it a day, but I decided to take a quick peek at what was going on. And I jumped into this MU trade, and this is a little dangerous because I hadn't been watching this ticker. So I was watching it. As soon as I tuned in right here, and it was pushing against this level of, again, for like the 7th or 8th time. And so I just jumped in short. And my stop out was if we broke this pivot there, which I don't know if you'd call that a pivot point, but basically the top of this hammer and this candle, that was my stop out. I wanted to keep it real tight because if this level held again, it was going to take off, I thought. So I took short, and it went in my favor, and I was hoping we'd get to this 50 MA, which is also the 200 MA on the one. And as we approached, I took some partials. I was holding a lot of shares still because I really thought we were going to go down to this. It was 44.63, which was another 12 cents. I was really hoping we'd push it. If we got there, I actually would have had a green day, and I was really hoping for that. But we didn't get there. I got out at break even, and the story of today is just really got chopped up. Took a huge couple losses right off the bat, and then fought my way back in a way I haven't done in a long time, and ended up basically break even on the day. So I'm happy that I was able to climb out of this hole, and hopefully tomorrow's a little smoother for me.